Hey, beautiful beauties, wonderful people, good afternoon. All right, my dear beautiful women, I'm dedicating this video to you, especially Christian women. I know we live in a world that pressure women to get married, to get involved with a man romantically, from a very young age. You know, I don't even want to say maybe as early as your late teens into early 20s. But, they start to, push it when you're moving into your 30s and so on. Be very careful. Not everything that glitters is gold. Get to know the individual. I'm going to say this to you, it may sound very unorthodox, but it is imperative. I'm not going to tell you that you need to be abusive in order to see who the person is. But when adversity strikes, just use that as a benchmark to say, can I handle this behavior, this character flaw, 10 years' time, 20 years' time, 40 years' time, if life spare? Allow adversities to happen. I'm not talking about allowing a man to abuse you. The only way to know if somebody is a medical doctor is for somebody to get sick and you watch how consistently that person helps the person to get better. That is the only way if you know that that person is a medical doctor. So yes, they can go to school. Yes, that doctor can get the training. But how do you know that this person is really a medical doctor? They make you move from sick to better consistently. They won't get it every time, but generally, invariably, frequently, they get it right. How you know if somebody's a lawyer? I wouldn't even go bother to say good or great lawyer. How many cases they win consistently, even when, their backs are against the wall. And I'm not talking about something because they're a judge or somebody in the privy and the judiciary are friends. We're talking about clean win. Clean win even when the stacks are against them. And because they're so good. That's how you know. So I'm saying to you that when you get involved, women, you pray to God and say, Lord, let me know if this person is for me. It doesn't mean that if the person displays something bad, that, that's a cause for it, unless that bad is something that you may not be able to live with. You realize, I know I cannot, because we have to be fair. We too are flawed beings as women. Because sometimes they look good, my beautiful people, they look good, but internally they are not. Don't just go with the outward appearance, take my word for it, or complexion and so on. Sometimes they look good, but they are not. They're messed up, not ready for relationships. Many of them, and I'm talking about church men, flawed. I'm not even talking about, you wonder about their sexuality. That is the least. Because if you check the ratio, if you check, I'm sure for a survey, if you check the top reasons for divorce, it's not on the basis of like sexuality. Like the person pretends to be straight when they're not. Communication, character, some serious character flaw. Communication, finances is up there as well. Infidelity is not number one. It's probably in the top 5. But infidelity is not number one. A lot of times women, you can't speak to those men, they don't listen to you. They are very controlling and narcissistic. They look good, they sound good, but in terms of when the rubber meets the road, you're in problems. They will be vindictive and they will be spiteful and they will have malice in their heart toward you. And I've often heard they say men don't forgive. You have women who are like that, who hold on to unforgiveness too, not just men. I think that's a human problem. I hear they blame men on that, but that's a human problem. But I understand where they're coming from. Because of how we're wired as women, we're moved by what we hear repeatedly. When, if, for example, a man goes out and, has extramarital affair, the woman tends to be a little bit more tolerant. She may not enter marriage on a one-off, two-off situation. You would have to be like a womanizer, very promiscuous and abusive, where it becomes too much and her cup overflows. Her cup will take a long time to fill up, but when it fills up, that's it. There's no return. There's point of no return. So, while for the man, because he's not as emotionally tough as a woman, it may break him in a different way, can't handle it. You know, they're physically tough. But it's a human problem in terms of unforgiveness. I've heard of men and women, of women struggling with unforgiveness too for many years. But women don't just jump into relation. Get to know them. Not care how them look like. They could look like Denzel Washington in his youthful days. They could be seemingly okay. Could be educated and bright. Sometimes you have to get under the vehicle. Get to know them. Many of them have serious character flaws.
Hi, Toni-Ann.
Get to know them, my beautiful people, especially some of them who claim that they're in the church. Get to know them, because you got to take over. You say, what the heck is this on me? You have one of the worst marriages and it stays for years. And if that man is narcissistic, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. Many of them, it's like they're healing, their wounds are being healed under band-aids. And I'm talking a dagger wound are being healed under, and you know, I put the word healed in quotations. It's not healing properly. It's not healing properly. They're narcissistic. You're going to be in serious problems. They're uncaring, they're unfeeling, without compassion. And they will, you know, create problems for you, so they can be psychologically abusive, very pretentious. They put on faces for, depending on who is in the public, and if they're around males, they act as though, you know, oh, no, get to know them. They're dangerous. Not because, even though they're, sorry, there was, I said, don't say not because, even though some of them are in the churches. I'm not even talking about a secular man at this point in time. I'm talking about those who claim to be church. They're pretentious, many of them, and fake, false, liars, tricksters. They dupe. Get to know them. Don't just jump in marriages like that, and relationships. Get to know them. Don't make nobody tell you, say, oh, Lord, the biological clock, I make it go and tick. Sarah had hers at what age? 90 or 80, and his 90, she get pregnant when she 100. The husband was 10 years her senior, meaning 10 years older than her. So she was 90. And I'm not saying that you're going to be 90. It was at a different time, and they lived at a, you know, but you understand the point that I'm making. You'll survive. When God is on your side, trust me, He can make night, day and day and night, literally. So you don't have to worry about that. Take your time. Get to know. Ensure you get to know. Don't frighten Friday, frighten Saturday, frighten Sunday, frighten Monday over any man. Get to know. Please, church women, don't just go with, oh, he's in a fairly good job. He has this education. He has this vehicle. He lives there. No. Many of them have some serious character flaw that you cannot manage when you get, once you start, you know, in that relationship. You'll be in problems. Get to know. They're flawed. They're seriously flawed beings. And some of them may come out of seemingly good homes, like with a mother and a father, but flawed because there's something missing. I don't know. I've often believed in, personally speaking, and I realize it, good homes is not devoid of trials and tribulations and difficulties. Some of them have not really begun to really experience life, and they're spoiled in a way by their parents, and they seemingly grew up in church. But what happens is that they grow up under a sense of falsity because they could not get to express themselves in a sinful way fully. And it is covered every time under band-aid. The cockroaches and the uglies are covered under band-aids. And I'm talking figuratively. So sometimes the woman who probably gets a man who was out there in the world, experienced the world, and comes in the church, probably better off than the one who claimed that he has been in the church for how long. Your man, problem there, so get to know the man. Get to know the man, because it may just be almost throwing your lives away. Please, my beautiful women, don't just jump in it. A lot of them, or many of them, are narcissistic, fake, pretenders, not true, not sincere. The number of women want to cry it right now. Guys, Follow me on TikTok, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please share this message.